Okay, begin.
Hi,
Look at
my
the
name
camera.
is Annie Estrada, and we're here with James White. He's our resident commissioner of Meriden, of the city of Meriden, of the state of Connecticut, on this Father's Day weekend. James, how many children do you have?
I have 2 children, a boy and a girl.
How long you been living in Chamberlain Heights?
Around 5.5 years, 6 years. 5.5, 6 years.
And you are a single parent, right?
Yes, I am.
James, when did your situation start? And why are you here?
Well, I'm here today the reason why I'm doing this video is to shed light on my situation and hopefully clear my name based on the accusations that were made by the Meriden Housing Authority.
And what was the outcome of all this?
Well, the outcome was that I was put in a situation where, as a resident commissioner, I was involved in a relocation plan that the development that I live in had put in place for the residents who lived there. They were going to demolish and reconstruct Chamberlain Heights where I live. And what I believed to happen was that the Meriden Housing Authority failed to follow the relocation plan as it was written to be followed. The relocation plan is a plan that is set up by D.C.E.D, HUD, M.H.A, and the residents, and also the Meriden Housing Authority, like a contract. And in this relocation plan, I felt that the Meriden Housing Authority, on its last phase of the relocation plan, because it was a 3-part relocation where residents were all to move out of Chamberlain Heights. On the 3rd phase, I know for a fact that residents were not being moved out of Chamberlain Heights. I, as a commissioner, thought that it was against the relocation plan and spoke up. Therefore, believing that what was going on had to be addressed, I've asked questions and never got those questions answered. After not following what Meriden Housing Authority was doing, because by law, I believe that if I was to sign any documents that they were providing for residents to sign, that I would be in violation of the law and also in violation of my duties as a commissioner of the Housing Authority. This is in 09 of October that they claim that all residents were to sign to sign a lease with the Maynard Road Group, who was now going to be their landlords. The Maynard Road Group is a group of all board members besides myself who also sit on the Meriden Housing Authority. I refused to do so in 09 October. A year goes by as I continue to still pay my rent to the Meriden Housing Authority. I then encountered a letter that was sent from the Meriden Housing Authority telling me to recertify with Maynard Road, who I have never signed a lease with. As I continue to pay my rent for that year, no one ever has come to me and told me that my rent needed to be paid to anyone else, or that I was signed up by the Meriden Housing Authority to be a tenant of Maynard Road. 2010, August, I got a notification in the mail that says, once again, that I needed to recertify. I questioned why would I be recertifying something that I never signed up for. The Meriden Housing Authority at that point told me that I was a part of Maynard Road. Now the question for me was, how did I become a part of Maynard Road when my abilities as a Section 8 tenant or involved in this relocation was to find my own landlord? If in fact I did sign up with anyone, it would be my choice. After asking for this to be cleared, I got no answer. So then, by following the rules and regulations that have been put in place in the relocation plan, I asked for this to be grieved.
Who did you get no answers from?
I got no answers from Rob Capoletti, the executive director of the Meriden Housing Authority, and he also sits on the Maynard Road board as a secretary. After getting no answers from him, I decided to go with my rights that I have as a tenant and ask for a grievance, which is also, as I said, a part of the relocation plan. It took me just day or two to put my grievance together. They responded and telling me that they would accept my grievance. But I didn't actually get a grievance hearing until 5 months later in December. In that grievance hearing, I brought a witness with me that actually was there as I presented my part of my grievance, and Meriden Housing Authority at that time did not dispute what I was believing in and what I felt that was going on. In fact, I was told by the grievance officer, Mr. Andrew Trudeau, an ex-executive director of the Housing Authority, that it was in the best interest of Maynard Road and the Meriden Housing Authority to work this problem out. In January of 2011, I got a notice of the findings of the hearing officer, and to my surprise, it was a total different outcome than I thought the officer and I had discussed, or what he at that time believed in December to be to try to resolve this problem. I was told at that time that they felt that the only option that I had was to sign a lease with Maynard Road, an illegal lease with Maynard Road, or to pay the rent in full, which because of my Social Security disability, I do not, I'm willing, and could never be able to pay that type of rent, or I could move back to the Mills where I came from before moving into Chamberlain Heights because of my disability, or I can do nothing, which was the fourth option, to do nothing and wait for the courts or for them to take me to court. At that time, I felt like I had no option. Even though there was 4 given, I felt like none of the 4 were options that my family and I could agree to. Just that question, so I wanted to pause for a second if that's possible.
Yeah.
Just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Um,
You gonna ask Annie questions? Who are you asking questions to?
I just have questions on the next step, or what should I be explaining?
I think that's, isn't that good?
That's correct.
Do you have a tie-up to it, an ending?
And
Section,
Go ahead.
to a Section 8 certificate under the relocation plan.
Right, I didn't throw that in there.
Yeah,
Throw that in there.
and
What-
pick your own landlord.
Right, I think I did
Yeah,
slip
you
that
did
in
say
there.
that.
You did.
yeah, you did.
I truly believe that this was a course action taken by the Meriden Housing Authority.
Retaliation.
I think it was a course action of retaliation taken by the Meriden Housing Authority, and specifically Rob Capiletti. As a commissioner, I know for a fact that I was entitled to a Section 8 certificate, and I had entitled to picking my own landlord. I have never gotten any answer from anybody how documents that I've seen that were illegal, people who I've talked to from HUD prior to them coming after me with the eviction, everyone told me that what I was seeing and believing to be not legit was not legit. So therefore, I'm urging folks who see this video to actually understand that there's always 2 sides to a story. The story that the Meriden Housing Authority is telling people in the public is that I, James White, did not pay my rent. I paid my rent until the day they told me they would not accept my rent anymore. Therefore, I truly believe that in this retaliation, my story needs to be heard so that I can clear my name, and so those who were involved in this relocation plan, D.C.E.D, HUD, CHAFA, and the Housing Authority, could understand that I only did what my job requires me to do, and what my conscience also requires me to do, which is ask the questions and get the answers. As I said, as a commissioner of the Housing Authority for 10 years, I've asked questions before and got them answered. Pertaining to these issues, I have never got an answer on why, in fact, the relocation plan was altered, why illegal things were being done on the 3rd phase, and why, when I questioned, no one could give me an answer that seemed to be any answer at all. They're avoiding anyone else who's trying to get answers from me. By putting this in the court's hands, they feel, in my eyes, that they can present their case as Meriden Housing Authority against a resident who's being upset. I didn't hear you, but upset, and my point of view is that I can't hear you.
Sorry, it's 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, well, we can cut it off right now and just correct it, I think. We'll
Okay.
just cut it off right now.